All right. How is everybody doing today on this wonderful Thursday afternoon in Facebook land? Welcome, Richard, my guest from Houston, Texas, the great state of Texas. We're going to give Richard a proper introduction in a couple minutes. But anyway, as you can see, Richard is a young buck. He is absolutely crushing it, though. So you may be one of the top ballers I've had on this show so far, Richard. So I'm so excited to get in. You guys listening out there in U.S. land, stick around because we're going to go step by step on how you scale a business. Richard's doing some amazing things, but he's kind of stuck in some areas of his business. So this is a live hot seat that I do typically on Tuesday afternoons where I get folks on like Richard at any level. Actually, it can be beginners to advanced investors. And I go over their obstacles and I crush every one of their obstacles. So I do these live casts so ordinary people can see that they can change their life and their situation through real estate investing. You don't have to have $1 million in the bank. You don't have to have an 800 credit score. We'll get to that in a second. So earlier today, I was speaking with a prospective student in San Francisco. And this student has always had a passion for real estate. And he told me that he works in a hospital as a medical records person, and he is stuck in a cubicle all day. He has to commute an hour to his job every day, and he absolutely hates it. So he makes $50,000 a year. And I told him that in San Francisco, one wholesale deal could easily net you $50,000. And I said, think about this. You would have to sit there in that cubicle for 2,080 hours to make the same amount of money that you could make in one wholesale deal. 2,080 hours is a full-time position. So really excited. If we haven't met before, I'm Brad Chandler. I'm founder and CEO of Express Home Buyers. I'm president of Brad Chandler Coaching, and I teach people how to find freedom through real estate investing using a tactic called wholesaling, which doesn't require much cash and really no credit at all. I started in 2003 with a negative $80,000 net worth. I was one of the 78% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, and it sucked. And now, 15 years later, I have a company that will, in the next 12 months, do 250 wholesale deals, millions of dollars in wholesale fees, and they do it without my day-to-day involvement. So you can do the same. I promise. Just watch this live cast and then download my free training at the end of this, where I'll teach you step by step how I made $33,750 on a townhome in Chantilly, Virginia that I never bought and never renovated. Okay. So tell us where you're from. Right now in the comment section, tell us where you're from. I love to hear where you're listening from. This isn't just about helping Richard. This is about helping you guys as well. So if you have any questions at all, type them below. Whether you're watching now on this live stream or you're watching a week or a month later, type your question because I promise I'll come back and answer them. And share this with your network because I'm sure there's other people in your network that would love to hear this and actually will get something out of it. And if you like what we have to say, either of us, click the thumbs up button or click the heart button and send us some love. So could you do that right now? Tell us where you're from. Click the heart button. Send us some love. Okay, let's get going. Welcome, everyone, to the Real Estate Investing Hot Seat live stream podcast. Welcome, Richard. Tell us who Richard is and what you're all about.
Hey, so thank you for having me on the show. Obviously, as you mentioned, I'm from Houston, Texas. I've been wholesaling for about 8 years now, so fresh out of college. When I was 19, I'm 27 now. And I went off to start my own company in August of last year. I was with another company where they promoted me to the kind of like a director of sales position where I had 9 guys on my team. So I got to learn a lot about wholesaling, deal analysis, all that good stuff. And I just realized, if I'm not going to make the jump now, I'll probably never do it. And so I just made the decision to start my own company. And that's where I am now. Fast forward about 8-9 months later. I've gone through some trial and error with marketing, different marketing strategies. This works, that doesn't. I wouldn't call it wasted money. I would just call it kind of trial and error. But I've so far closed 19 properties since August 15th. And banked just over $271,000. So that's more than I've ever made in any year working for any company. And that hasn't even been a full year. So it's kind of a little bit about me and where I'm from, what I'm doing.
Guys, $271,000 in income, and it hasn't even been a year. And how old are you again? Did you say 47? Oh, no. Wait, 27.
27.
A 27-year-old who just graduated from college, or just, didn't quite just, but a couple years ago, just brought in $271,000. Were these all wholesales?
They were all wholesales. Yep. And that doesn't include the deals. I actually had a closing today and I have another closing tomorrow. Well, two closings tomorrow. So that'll put me over $310,000 from August 15th to I guess you can call it June 1st.
So people are probably sitting here thinking, what kind of obstacles could Richard possibly have? He's 27 years old and he's bringing in $300,000. Richard, have we ever met before? No, never met before. This is our first time actually talking, right?
Yeah, it's been a little. Yeah.
So you've generated $310,000 worth of income in real estate. How many bank loans did you have to go out and get?
Zero.
How many contractors did you have to deal with? How many contractors ran away with your money? How many $50,000 rehabs got shut down? How many lawsuits have you gotten because you renovated a house and they came back and sued you?
No, zero.
So guys, ladies and gentlemen out there, that I hear this all the time. I talk to my prospective students, and even today, the guy's like, well, someone told me you can't wholesale properties in San Francisco. I go, well, they don't know what they're talking about, so don't listen to them. I've got a buddy in San Francisco that wholesales, and he won't touch a deal unless he makes $100,000 a year, $100,000, per property. So, wow. Phenomenal. Love to hear it. So guys and gals, it is possible to make a lot of money in real estate without having credit. Did you ever use your credit? Did you ever go? No, never use your credit, right?
No.
Okay. All right. So you are, in all intents and purposes, rocking and rolling. Though that's top line income, I'm sure. We're not going to get into expenses, but I assume you're doing okay on the expenses side and you're putting a good chunk of that money into your pocket or back into the business. Is that correct?
Yeah. And I don't have many expenses. There's just one guy that I've kind of hired. I pay him between $2,000 and $3,000 a month to basically more or less be more like an admin. So he's fielding calls. He's helping me with contracts, offers, blasting properties out. So I don't really have a lot of overhead. I don't have even an office expense. This is actually it's actually out of my house right now, this room. And so I'm just kind of working from the house. I don't really need to burn money on an office at this moment.
Smart move. And don't worry about working from your house. So you were an employee. You said, hey, I'm too smart to be an employee. I don't like my job. I don't like my boss. Whatever the reason was, you decided to leave. It sounds like, and you just said this a second ago, it sounds like that you had nothing to do with the marketing. Like your former boss kept that behind closed doors or whatever.
He kept it secret. Yeah. He kept it secret. He was a brilliant marketer. He kept it secret, and it just kind of, it was one of those things, don't talk to him about. I mean, we obviously knew that the $40,000 a month that he was spending was in internet marketing. We didn't do any direct mail. He started out doing direct mail, yellow letters, and then that's how he built the company. But he didn't do any direct mail at the time. And so I wouldn't say I was too smart. I would say more that I kind of hit the ceiling, and that it just was that time where I wasn't getting any more out of being there. I knew that there was bigger things for me. So
awesome. So I got to tell you a quick story. I've got a superstar student in Richmond. You may have seen the podcast, I don't know, a month ago or so, Adam Furman. And Adam had a very similar situation to yours. Although he wasn't an employee, he was a partner, and his partner handled all the marketing. So in December of last year, he decided to go on his own. They parted ways. And so he did this huge mailing in December and got nothing. Was like, what is wrong? Is my phone broken or something? He joined my coaching program, and he's actually now in level 2, how to go from an entrepreneur to CEO. He joined my program January 12th. For about 10 straight weeks. This is a guy who sent mail and got no results. For 10 straight weeks from January 12th on, he got a deal a week. It was like over $200,000 in profit just following my system. Now he's calling me saying that, and he started to introduce cold calling into his business. And now he's calling me saying, Brad, I can't even keep up. Like, I need to hire a bunch more people. So we're going to get you on track with the market. Not that you're not on track, but you obviously can scale further. So we're going to talk a lot about that, because marketing is one of my, I don't give myself.
I can't hear you. It's kind of cutting out.
Okay, it may just be the internet connection.
Here,
We're just gonna have to, we're
one
just gonna have
sec.
to keep rolling. I can hear you fine. So
Yeah, I got you.
you got, okay, cool. So anyway, I love marketing. So we'll talk a lot about that. So tell me, what do you think, Richard, right now, what are your top three challenge? First of all, what is your goal for the next 12 months or yeah, what's your goal? What are your goals for the next 12 months?
Okay, so I would like to make a quarter million every quarter. So I would like to bring in $1 million in the next 12 months. And it sounds like a huge goal for just two people. But I feel like if I break it up into steps and I have enough leads coming in, that if I can get some of these hurdles, like you were saying, if I can figure out some of these challenges, then that goal will be doable. So
So, sorry.
no, that's good. So $1 million
What is,
in the next 12 months.
okay. So that is a definitely lofty goal because you're going to do, so for your first 12 months in business, you're right now, you're at 310. We've got another 2 months. So let's say you're going to be at 400. So you're going to want a 2.5x that. Not saying
Yep.
it's impossible, but it definitely is a lofty goal. What's your average wholesale fee?
My average wholesale fee right now, and in Houston, it's not as profitable. I mean, you're saying like 100,000 in San Francisco. Here, the industry is like 12,000. For me right now, it's between 18 and 19,000.
Okay, so that's going to bring you in at about 55 deals. Um, that's going to be about just roughly 5 deals a month. Could you do 5 deals a month with two people? Yeah, you probably could, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. You're probably going to need to hire some folks, or you're going to be working like crazy. All right. So your goals are to make a million to bring in $1 million in wholesale fees in the next 12 months. What do you think are your biggest obstacles?
Um, and I'd also like to buy a house. So that's another goal. So my house was flooded during Hurricane Harvey, 4.5 feet of water, and it just got destroyed. And so I rehabbed it and it's going to be up for sale this weekend, but I'm not going to move back just because the experience was kind of dramatic. So that's another goal. So the three challenges, the biggest challenge right now is that with the website that I have, I'm generating a lot of out of state leads. I just don't know how to really maximize them. Like I'm getting sellers that are wanting to sell me everything from homes to car washes to warehouses to commercial buildings in New Jersey and Alabama, Mississippi, all over the nation, probably 2 or 3 leads a day. And I just don't know I know how to get them under contract. That's not the issue, but I don't know how to sell it. I was thinking maybe Craigslist or call realtors, local realtors in those areas and say, hey, do you have any cash investors? But the biggest single most challenge or the single biggest challenge right now is how to utilize and make money off of these leads that are coming in from these other areas.
So Richard, why are you generating leads all over the country?
So I signed an agreement with this marketing firm and they've had this website for about a year and they tag it in with a lot of other websites that they have. I don't really understand the whole SEO part of it, but essentially it generates traffic for they build websites and generate leads and then call people in those industries and sell them those leads. And so they weren't getting a lot of traction with the real estate, but they've had it for a year. So all these leads that are coming in, I'm not paying for. It's all SEO. It's all basically, I pay the marketing firm $1,500 a month, and then I get all these leads, that come in. And that's one side of it. Then there's the other side where I do pay them for strictly PPC or pay per click in Houston. And so, these leads, I'm not necessarily paying for them or marketing for them, but it's just kind of an added benefit from the SEO work that they've done over the last year. And so,
Okay.
yeah, that's
okay. So we're generating close to 900 leads a month outside of our direct markets too, and we're starting to monetize those. So we'll talk about that in a second.
900.
Yeah. How many leads? How many leads are you getting a month outside of Houston?
Okay, I would say I get about 7 a week. So 28, 30 a month.
Okay. Is there any reason that you can't bring in $1 million in Houston, that you have to go outside your market?
I don't have Houston, in my experience, is very competitive. I don't know other areas. Maybe everywhere's, big cities are competitive, but I don't think so. I don't think I'd have to go outside of Houston. It's a big city. There's a lot of deals. It's just at the moment I'm not really paying for them other than the $1,500. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
So I got a lot of great thoughts on my mind. Number one is, what was the biggest month your previous company ever had in a month?
The biggest month we ever had was a $531,000 month.
$531,000 in wholesale fees.
Yeah, four guys. Yeah.
Guys, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Send us some love by clicking the heart button. So again, for all of you skeptics out there that says this stuff doesn't work, buying houses with no money down doesn't work, wholesaling doesn't work in my market. Well, Houston is one of the most competitive markets in the country. And Richard's previous firm did $500,000 in a month. So that answers my question. Richard, you do not need to go anywhere else. What's happening right now to you? You've got a little bit of shiny object syndrome, and you're saying, well, it's only $1,500. Well, no, it's not only $1,500. And this is a mistake that a lot of people make. It's who's calling those leads, who's processing those leads. When the people call you back, tracking them down, you trying to set up operations in other areas. I know this. I mean, we have with VAs where I've lost track. We're like 25 people. We have a huge firm, and it's actually hard for us to keep up with the leads. We're going to start building it out. So I don't even really want to get into that, because I can tell you right now, it's a huge distraction for you. You should tell them to keep their $1,500, and we'll talk offline. Maybe we'll take the leads and split them or something like that. But this is a huge distraction for you. You're a young dude. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. And this is one of the mistakes that I want you to avoid doing. You need to literally call them tomorrow, the next day, whatever, say, I don't want any more leads. Actually, reach out to me, and we'll talk offline to see. I want to hear more about them. But just get rid of that. If your last boss could make $500,000 in a month, you don't need to go anywhere. And I see this constantly. I see this with, I love Gary Keller to death. Keller Williams, I think he's one of the top 50 business people in the world, but he's out there pushing people to expand in different markets. Well, the realtors, I bet you 95% of the realtors who are expanding into other markets don't even have their shit together in their own market. So just put that on hold. So
I was feeling that this morning, texting them or texting Marina. She's the lady, just saying, hey, because they're going, like you said, I'm spending so much time on them, calling it, trying to run it. I mean, that's time that I'm not giving to, Houston. And I haven't closed one deal that's been outside of the state since I've got.
So not only does it cost you $1,500, it may have cost you into the tens of thousands of dollars. So let's cut that. That's number one obstacle. Boom. We fixed that. You may not want to tell them to get rid of it. Again, let's talk. And maybe what happens is you take the next year, get your $1 million, you get Houston up and running, and then I can teach you how to close deals. We've had a number of wholesale deals, $38,000 in Tampa. We never saw the property. We had a small one in Tacoma, Washington. We've got one in Chicago now. We've got contracts all over the place, New Jersey. So we'll teach you that down the road. What's your next biggest obstacle?
I would say the next biggest obstacle would be deciding whether I need to spend more money in pay-per-click, or do I need to start doing, direct mailing campaigns, which I've only done a few mailing campaigns. They were successful, but essentially the biggest obstacle, I guess it's all wrapped into one. Every obstacle that I'm having right now is, well, except for scaling the business, like hiring the right time to hire the right person to hire, and really just marketing. So if the lead comes in, it doesn't matter if there's 4 companies or 5 companies that go out there, not being arrogant. I've just done it so long. I know how to get the contract. So that part I have. It's how do I build the business? Where do I want to build it? And how do I get leads to come in? So that's the biggest hurdle right now, is just marketing.
And that's what we teach in our Entrepreneur to CEO course. We actually teach how to grow and scale a business. So PPC, let's talk about that. You're currently spending, you said $7,500 a month in PPC?
Yep, about that.
And I'm looking at, you filled out our application form to join the podcast. And by the way, if anyone wants to join the podcast, just go. If you want to be a guest like Richard, just go to bradchandler.com/podcast, and we'll screen you. And if you make the screening process, we'll have you on here and we'll put you in the hot seat. So What does it cost per lead right now for you?
So I know I was saying somewhere between two and 300. That's not, I would say let's go cost per deal. So let's say my cost per lead right now is probably between 750 to $800 cost per lead.
Cost per
So
lead or deal?
yeah, cost per lead. And so cost per deal is about 3,500 for me right now. So if I spend 7 grand, I'm going to get probably 2 contracts that will close and get me 18 to 19,000.
You're telling me a lead on pay-per-click is costing you $700?
Not just a lead, but what I like to call like, so let's say they call in, yeah, I'm selling a mobile home, but can you just buy the mobile home, PPC, or they click and say, it's a retail, they bought it last year. And so the PPC is not refined enough to where it's screening out, the people that are, they really just need to go with a realtor. They don't need to sell their house as is. They don't have enough equity. And so I'm not really counting those as leads, but the actual deals that come in where, hey, we inherited the property, we got 100% equity, we're ready to let it go. That's a lead. That's probably I'd say about every 3 deals that I get like that, I close, or every 3 leads, I close a deal.
But across the board for all of the people, all the crap leads, it's $200 to $300, right?
It's probably 200 to 300.
So that's on the high side. What's the landing page that they're sending them to?
That I don't know.
Okay, why don't you know that?
That's a great question. Mainly because I have 15 properties under contract right now, and I'm just overwhelmed. Just being.
Well, is it because they haven't told you? What will they tell you?
They'll share it with me. If I ask them, they'll share it with me. They'll share the landing page. They're very open. Like they're
okay. Get that and send it to me offline, and I'll give you my critique because it's a little on the high side. Often 9 times out of 10, when I look at a landing page, it's crap. It's crap. So send that to me offline. I'll do that for you as a favor to you.
Thank you.
15. Look at behind this board, guys. Look at that board behind him. 15 deals. 27-year-old with 15 deals. So if you're sitting at home or you're in a job that sucks and you're like, I can't do this, you can do it. I don't know Richard, but I'm guessing Richard's not the smartest guy in the world. He just has worked really hard and is just honing his craft. So let's send Richard some love, man. 15 deals. Let's hit that heart button right now. If I could do it, I'd be doing it. All right. So you've got PPC. I'd like to see, I wish you had more data on that. So this goes back to, instead of chasing leads around the country, you need to know your numbers. You need to know what the landing page is, what exactly they're doing. Are the leads any good? Because that way you're going to know whether you can scale them or not. Because I'm just making this up, but you want to go from about 2 deals a month to 5 deals a month. So let's just say you want to double. Maybe it's that you spend 15,000 in PPC. I don't know. And we don't know that until we get the statistics. So direct mail, you're not doing any. Direct mail is very competitive, but we're still seeing a return on it. And a lot of our students are seeing a return on it. So it's something I teach in my first program, just a complete package. If anyone out there wants it, it's crazy what I sell this small piece for, but it's only $247. If you go to bradchandler.com/direct mail, we give you the entire program. It's crazy. It's that low price, but it's basically just, how to pull a list. We actually give people 3 cents per record. Normally it takes 15 to 18 cents, and we tell you exactly how to do it. Now what you can do is you can take that list and start calling. Have you done any outbound calling, Richard?
No.
Okay.
So what I did is when the flood hit, I walked the neighborhood and I got probably just 10 referral deals. And then over the last several months, people referred other people. I told them I would pay them $2,000 for any referral that I closed. And I probably got another 6 referral deals. I've only got from the PPC marketing that I just started with this firm maybe 55 days ago. I only got 2 deals so far. And one of them's closing tomorrow for $35,000. And the other one is, I don't have a buyer yet for it. So
okay. Well, so look, if you're spending $3,500, and in this case you're getting back $35,000, that's a 10-to-1 return. That is about as good as it gets in this business. So it could be luck because it's early, but if I were to spend $7,500 and get 2 deals, one of which was 35, that's freaking amazing. Absolutely amazing. So
it was a $10,000 fee that turned into a 35. It wasn't necessarily luck. It was all It was all strategy, but there was luck involved. There was an IRS lien that they essentially released. It was a $98,000 IRS lien. I called the IRS and they said, "Hey, look, it's been past 10 years. The IRS after December 19th of 2017 decided not to refile this, and so we're going to release the lien entirely." Before I called the IRS, I talked to the seller and I said, "Hey, if I can get your family to walk away with 60,000, right now you're at 115. But if I can get you to walk away with 60, I know this IRS lien's 100,000. Would you be okay with that? I don't know what the IRS is going to negotiate." He's like, "Yeah." So I sent him an amendment with the price reduction down to 60,000. Called the IRS to lock him in so it doesn't change his mind, and they ended up releasing the lien entirely. So I called the seller back. I said, "Hey, I got the IRS. They're working with me, and I can get you the 60,000." So I turned that deal from 10 into 35. It's closing tomorrow. It was great. I'm very fortunate.
Beautiful. Let's take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about your wholesale spreads. And I want to talk about who your employee is, what they do. And then I know in your application to be on the podcast, you talked about skip tracing. So I want to hear a little bit more about that. So I'm going to pause to tell you guys something really cool. I'm offering a select number of people. If you're one of those 78% of Americans like I was, living paycheck to paycheck, or you're just struggling trying to grow your real estate investing business, you may be interested in this opportunity. At Brad Chandler Coaching, I teach people how to find freedom in their life doing exactly what we do, and that's to invest in real estate without needing tons of money or credit. If you're interested in learning more, you can see all of what my program has to offer by going to bradchandler.com/learn. On this page, you'll find a free training where I discuss how to start and grow a real estate wholesaling business. It doesn't matter what level you're at. I help all levels of real estate investors. If you want to learn how to make tens of thousands of dollars wholesaling a house without bank loans or loans of cash, or you want to learn to grow your existing business, go ahead and watch my free training at bradchandler.com/learn. If you're looking for freedom in your life, this could be the answer. Okay, back to Richard. So a couple things I want to hit. And definitely, Richard, we'll talk offline because I think there's a lot of help I can give you with my program. So PPC, let's get your numbers, and then let's see if we turn that up a little bit. Actually, before you do that, let's wait 30 days. See if in the month of June you get similar numbers. If you're getting similar numbers, let's crank whatever's working. This is something I learned from Frank Kern, a mentor of mine, and that is oftentimes people don't do or continue to do what's working. So if a horse is working for you, ride that horse to the finish line. So let's give it one more month before you really crank it up, because it could be a fluke. Let's get our numbers. Let's check out our landing page. Let me tell you if I think it's good or not. And then that may be one of the levers that you pull. Direct mail, I would definitely do some direct mail. But before I go into direct mail or give you some more tips on that, let's talk about the skip tracing thing. You said something like you've been verified as a skip tracing. How to skip trace?
Yeah. So I was in collections when I was 19, and we used a very powerful tool. It's a skip tracing tool that essentially you can pull everything about anyone: social, phone numbers, cell phones, family members, neighbors, job, like credit, cars, mortgage, everything, just everything about that's out there. And so I left and got into real estate in college. And by the way, I didn't graduate. I dropped out to do wholesaling. It was just too good at the time. And so I heard my buddy who said, "Yeah, their TransUnion is offering this to other people, but you have to go through this bigger screening process." Long story short, I went through a 3 inspections. They came out, they looked at my house. I had to get locks on the bedroom doors, a shredder, all this stuff to, be approved.
Yep.
And now I have access to it. So I can literally, if I haven't even utilized it yet. Again, it's just overwhelming, man. It's been frustrating because I know it's there. I know the tools are there. It's just it's like going to waste, not almost, and I just hate that. So
Richard, you're a high D. You're a driver. You're a CEO. Most CEOs are high Ds. So you're really critical of yourself. You got to remember, you're 27 years old and you're bringing in $310,000. Let's get you a plan to get to $1 million. So don't worry about it. It is what it is. We'll get you using it.
All right.
You probably have no idea the gold mine that you're sitting on right there, how you're really going to expand your business. And we're just now getting into this because I'm tired of hearing people from all over the country just crushing it. We've never had to do it. We have well over $100,000 a month marketing budget, and it's internet, it's direct mail, it's TV advertising. It's SEO, it's pay-per-click, it's Facebook ads. So we've never had to do it. Now we're just thinking like, what idiots are we? So your experience where you just got that IRS lien deal done and you took it from a 10 to a $60,000 wholesale fee, guess what? You just have to go find, and they're data providers, and we're really close to finding some of those that have liens, that have these hairy liens. Then you're going to go and you're going to skip trace those people, and you're going to go do the same exact thing you did 10 times a month. And that's take deals that you could have made 10 or another investor would have made 10 and turn them into 60. So if you want to like get a really quick bang for your buck, go into ListSource. If you sign up for my coaching or you buy that program, you're going to have access at 3 cents a record. Go into ListSource, start by taking your biggest areas. Start very, very, very. This is so easy. Go with the people with the highest equity. So decide how much you want to spend on the list. I think you should pull like maybe 5,000 names or something.
Okay.
Pull that high equity list and then start skip tracing and calling them. Now, can you do this? Probably not. I think you probably want to do some of it to get training, make sure it works. And then you want to go hire a VA or an inside sales associate who's going to do this, who's going to literally make a couple of hundred phone calls a day.
Okay.
So I'm promise you, if you do that, you are going to see. And then what you're going to do is you're going to layer on, tax delinquents. You're going to layer on code violations. You're going to layer on divorce, foreclosures, all of that stuff. And I mean, you want to scale, you could do that literally across the country, but don't do it until you hit your goals in Houston and you've got everything, buttoned down.
Okay.
I
have a buddy who did that. They used a skip tracing program and they did a list. They cold called and he spent about $6,000 on the list, and the firm that did the skip tracing for him, that basically he sent the list and they sent back all the numbers. And then they did a text message or a voice message mail drip campaign, and made 45 grand off of it. 6 contracts, 45 grand, and they're terrible salesmen. Let me tell you, they were on my team. They were like just not good.
And you can hit them with text as well.
Yeah, text messages, everything. I mean, that's how. I mean, it was like you said, it's like a gold mine. So. Now I have it. I don't have to outsource the skip tracing. I literally have it. And so it's $1 a trace. So if I get 5,000 names, it'll cost me $5 grand to skip them all. And then, but like you said, even if I get one deal off of that and my average fee is 18 grand, it just paid for the marketing. I'm not worried about spending the money because I've learned.
Right. Right. And they're also data providers. One of my students actually came across DataZap. They give phone numbers and email records for 3 cents a record. I'm sure they're not going to be as good as you personally skip tracing through TLO, because if you find someone who's deceased, you can go and look at relatives and neighbors and stuff and track them down.
It is TLO. You're familiar, huh?
Yep. So we have TLO. We use My Outdesk as a VA service. They're the largest VA service firm specializing in VAs, virtual assistants for realtors and investors. So if you go to bradchandler.com/VA, they'll actually do a free 30-minute consult with you to figure out what gaps in your business and how a VA could potentially fill them. And they give like 200 or half off the setup fee. Just go to bradchandler.com/VA. So your wholesale fees, $17,000 sounds a little low to me. Do you know what you're buying at, what formula you're buying at, meaning X percentage of ARV minus repairs and what you're selling at?
So my strategy is a little bit different, and maybe that's where it needs to change. Typically it's like 65, 70 cents on the dollar. If there's a lot of companies, I might bump it up to 75 cents. Heck, I might even contract it at 85 cents if that's what's going to get me the deal, knowing that they have equity and knowing that the type of seller demographics that I'll be able to tell whether they're going to renegotiate in 2 weeks. I'll just tell them, look, it's a really tight deal, but I think I can get it done. But if I can't, I need to know that you'll work with me down the line so that we can get this closed. And then I'll renegotiate like I did with this deal that's closing tomorrow. Every other company will just, no, we got to be at 70 cents on the dollar. And they'll just tell them to pack sand. I'll get it, renegotiate. But typically 70 cents on the dollar, 75 cents on the dollar. We have a lot of people in Houston will buy at 80, 85 cents on the dollar. And,
okay. And your average sales price in Houston, not yours, the market is probably in the 200 range.
Sales price, I would say lower than that, between 100 and $150,000 is the average. You don't really get a lot of houses above 200,000 that you're wholesaling.
No, no, no. I'm not talking about yours. I'm just saying in general, the entire market across.
Oh,
If you looked at the average of the last 12 months of sales, I think you're going to be in the $200,000
yeah,
range.
for sure, for sure.
So my point is that in DC it's closer to 400,000. It's over 400,000. So if our wholesale fee is 35,000, 37,000, you should be a little closer to 20,000. So where are you finding your buyers?
So mainly from just all the years that whenever I was with the other company, when we would get a buyer, I would save their contact information. So I have like 200 buyers saved. And then really what I would do, what I'm utilizing now is I'll actually just ask the owner if I can list their property on the open market for 30 days and they're not going to pay any realtor fees. And essentially I'll get a buyer and I'll double close on the deal. So a lot of these deals I've closed by just listing on the open market and then double closing, paying the realtor fee on the buyer side, the 3%, and then, essentially just making my fee. But I'm working right now. I got a list of about 48,000 buyers. MailChimp's like $300 a month to service that many. And so I'm in the process of trying to set up, not really trying, but considering setting up to utilize this list that I was able to get from a couple other people in the industry.
Okay, so the best source is just to go. That's a lot of brain damage getting that list, mailing them. The best source is just to go to go to real estate agents who have dealt with cash buyers, and call them and say, "Hey, are you interested in this off-market deal?"
So basically, you're saying like go back a year, look at all the cash
Yep.
sales in the subdivision, call that realtor and say, hey, that cash buyer, they're still interested.
Yep, absolutely. Now tell me, Richard, why are you double closing and not just doing a straight up assignment?
I don't double close only when I have to. It's when the end buyer's not familiar with an assignment and it's scaring them, it kind of scares them. And so I try to tell it to them, but at that, I'm just like, look, I'll double close. I'll spend the extra $1,500, $1,800, whatever it is in closing costs and just get it done. So
But are these end buyers, are they going to move into the house or are they investors?
sometimes they're going to move into it. Sometimes, majority of the times, they're more investors. And so they have an agent, but even then, they're used to always buying deals on the open market where they submit a contract to the other person. So they're always used to these Texas Real Estate Commission contracts. If they're not familiar with an assignment and they don't know me, and I'm asking them for a $2,500 deposit, all this stuff, it just kind of, if it scares them, I don't push it too much, because I'd rather just get the deal done.
Okay. So who is your employee? You just told me, did you say you had one employee?
Yeah, his name is Logan Parker. He goes to the University of Houston. He's 22, going on 23 maybe. And just a guy that I've known for probably a family friend that I've known for maybe 7 years. Hard worker. I kind of watched him over the years, and he asked me if he could help me out a little bit in December. So he helped me out. I would just kind of pay him per file, and it ended up doing really well. And so he's still here. He's still going to school, still doing.
How many hours a week does he work?
I would say he works the same as me. If I'm working, he's working. So he'll show up.
How many hours are you putting in?
That's hard to say because, are you counting like the calls I'm taking at 7:30?
Everything. Everything.
Probably 60 hours, 65 hours.
So the kid's going to school full time and he's working 60 hours a week?
He's getting it. Yeah, he is just, I don't know. He's yeah. I don't know how he does it. He made all A's in 1B, showed me his, I was like, no way you did that. And he's like, yeah, man, I did.
So you're gonna hire him full time when he graduates, I assume.
Right now, I kind of feel like he already is full time. He works with me every single day. He's never turned me down if I need him.
I meant to say like permanent hire. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome. And what is he doing and what are you doing in the business?
So if we have to list a property, he does all the listing. He'll field all the emails, all the calls, and he'll send them to me. I do all the negotiating. He does a little bit of negotiating if it's over email or if he's talking to a realtor. If we list a property, that's kind of what we've done and had a lot of success with listing the properties and getting buyers that way. If we have a lead, I call the lead. He doesn't call any leads. I'll call them. I'll go on the appointment. I go on all the appointments. I handle all the negotiations. He basically just handles all of the back end. If I need a contract sent, if I need an amendment sent, if I need something DocuSigned, if I need, something paid to this person, send an earnest money check here, send an option money check, get a lockbox on the property, get the photographer out there, get pictures taken. Whatever it is that it's just like tedious work, hire the movers for the seller. Like I'll offer sellers assisted moving programs. I only have to pay $2,000, but they think it's the world and I'll get the deal over. Anything that's like admin type stuff is what he's doing.
Okay. Is it working pretty good for you?
It is. It's working. If I knew a better way to utilize my time, like you were saying, ditch all the out-of-state leads. That's a big thing I kind of caught on right away. It's working. I mean,
and you don't, that's it. You have no other VAs or anything?
No, I've been hearing about virtual assistants, but I'm not.
So what you need to do is you need to take an average 2 work days and carry around a pad and write down literally everything that you do. So I woke up at 8, I got to the office. I've been making this up, 8:15, fielded phone calls, like every 5-minute increments. And then you're going to sit down, you're going to look at that and you're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm doing a bunch of $10 an hour work that I shouldn't be doing. And then you're either going to have your employee or you're going to have a VA fit that. You're going to have them take that over because if you're going to, you're probably worth $200 or $300 an hour. So you shouldn't be doing $10 an hour jobs.
Okay.
So, we're getting towards the end here. We kind of have already gone over. So your game plan is cut the leads nationwide. Let's analyze PPC, direct mail. Let's do direct mail, but also along with direct mail, let's call that list of high equity. You mentioned something about a newspaper advertisement that you're doing.
Green Sheet. It got me a couple deals. So it's like maybe $2,000 every 3 months. And I got one deal from it that made $13,000, another deal that made $12,500. And so it's just, there's not a lot of leads, but in terms of return on an investment, it was the single best marketing source that we did at the other firm I was with. The only thing is it's capped out. You're only going to get so many leads.
Right. So I look at everything as in marketing. If I spend $1, I'd like to get $3 to $5 back. So if this is working for you, then keep doing it.
Okay. You think the list and the cold calling is actually a gold mine in your opinion?
That's going to be huge for you. Yep. Let's get some direct mail out. Let's crank up PPC. Make sure that you're calling the agents who have cash buyers. That's going to increase your spread a little bit. And I think you're on your way to the $1 million, and then hopefully you'll scale from there. What questions did you have for me, Richard?
The biggest question I had for you is I'm nervous about scaling because the 2 guys I was with, the other firm and the firm before that, they were so weighed down by the business. They never stepped away from the business. And one of the things I really admired, or when I was watching a YouTube video about your podcast, is that you actually stepped away from the wholesaling business, what it sounded like almost entirely. Now, maybe you're looking at top line numbers and stuff, but you had a CFO, a CEO, all this stuff that it just ran itself. And so at the other firms, they were spending so much money. They weren't managing their money well. And so we were constantly just stressed for money. And it's like we're having to wholesale every month just to cover the bills. And I'm nervous is that how it is industry wide? Well, until I saw your video, I thought that was the case. And then I realized, well, no, maybe you can build a wholesale engine, step away from it, and it runs itself. And so that's really what I'm looking to do, because if you're making $800,000, $900,000 a month, whether it's before expenses or after expenses, that's a lot of money. You could do a lot of things with that, even if you're making $100,000. And so scaling the business and being able to kind of step away and do things that I would like the coaching and just other things that you would kind of want to endeavor in and experience. That's what I'm looking for. So I don't know how to explain that.
It makes perfect sense. So I'm an example that it can be done. I don't have to come into the office anymore. I don't sign checks. I don't go see houses. I don't field phone calls. I'm not even dealing with employee issues anymore. and we're getting ready to, go through a rapid expansion mode. So it can be done, and that's exactly what I teach through my coaching program. So that's why you're tailor fit for these programs. And you're gonna have right now we have 7 other people in the program. All these guys are high level. It's like having a board of directors. You can pick up the phone and call anytime. Hey, John, how's this marketing working for you? One of my students just told me yesterday. He goes, Brad, I did 70 deals last year. It was a pain in the ass. I rehabbed everything. I saw your stuff. I joined your coaching program. I've stopped rehabbing. I'm wholesaling, and I just had $176,000 month. He's not in a major market. $176,000 in wholesale fees under contract in the month of May, and now we're working with him. It's a husband and a wife. Now we're working with him to build out his team so that he can go scuba dive a lot. Him and his wife love to go scuba diving. So absolutely you can do it. And the number one problem I see with my students when they first come in the program, and I'm very connected. I'm in a bunch of masterminds. The number one problem that people have in their company is people. So we go a lot in my training, the second level entrepreneur to CEO. It's all about people. Like, why am I able to, if I wanted to go to Jamaica for a year, why am I able to do that? It's because I have this amazing team surrounding me. It's not that I'm that smart. I've just gone out and put smart people in place, and I'm really good at doing that. So that's what I teach you. So this is not rocket science, guys. This is you're making money. You're going to reinvest in the business. You're going to add more people. You're going to spend more marketing dollars, and then you're just going to create systems. And don't think that great systems are the answer. You can have great systems. If you've got bad people, your business is going to fail. So you've really got to spend the time. And Richard, whether you got lucky or you're good, it sounds to me like you've got a superstar in your hands. So don't ever hire anyone that's not as good as him. Always, always, always be looking to hire people that are amazing.
Okay.
So, and again, we'll go over that. We go over that, really in depth in the coaching program. So guys, thanks for sticking around to the end. Remember, it is possible for you to leave your job and get the freedom you deserve in your life through real estate investing without needing money to buy or renovate the homes. Myself, my students, Richard, and countless wholesalers around the U.S. are living proof. I promise you I was going to give you this killer free training for sticking around. So I'm going to give you this training on how we made $33,750 on a townhome in Chantilly, Virginia, a couple months ago without ever buying it, without ever using a bank loan, without ever putting down $100,000 in cash. And we made $33,750. This training will knock your socks off. It is absolutely amazing. I go into such detail on every part of it. Just go to bradchandler.com/results. Richard, this was freaking awesome. You're a rock star. I can't wait to see you grow in the future. I think you've got great stuff on the horizon. So thank you so much for being on my show. Could everyone say thanks to Richard? Because he gave some awesome information by clicking that heart button. Click that right now and say, thanks, Richard. Thanks, Brad. And then share this episode. And this concludes our episode for the day. Again, thanks, Richard.
Thank you, Brad.